Hello and welcome to the Senate Minute, a weekly update to help keep Hoosiers informed about the Indiana General Assembly and engaged in our legislative process. This is Elizabeth Voss coming to you from the Senate Majority Communications Office. The 2018 legislative session began on January 3rd, and the committee meetings and bill readings are in full swing. On this episode of the Senate Minute, we'll discuss some things you should know as the session gets underway. The Indiana General Assembly has until March 14th to move the bills through the Senate and the House of Representatives. After that, they can be signed into law or vetoed by Governor Eric Holcomb. The Republicans represent the majority caucus in the Indiana State Senate, and while this session there isn't one piece of legislation that stands out above the rest, like last year's goal to improve Indiana's roads, there are a few bills that the Republican caucus is focusing on. For example, debate continues this year with the introduction of Senator Ron Alting's bill, Senate Bill 1, which would allow grocery stores to sell alcoholic beverages for carry-out on Sundays from the hours of noon to 8 p.m. Over the legislative break this summer, Senator Alting was a member of a summer study committee on alcohol sales.
It was unanimous that it was simply the time to do a Sunday sales bill. So I would take great pride in being the author of that bill, and simplicity, I say, is always the key to an alcohol bill. Therefore, what this does basically is everything that we do in 6 days on selling alcohol, we're going to 7.
Senate Bill 1 passed out of the Public Policy Committee last week and now moves to the full Senate for consideration. In other news, the opiate crisis continues to plague Indiana and the entire country. Senator Aaron Houchin from Salem, Indiana, has introduced a bill to help combat this epidemic.
It's no secret we're in the midst of an opiate crisis. Indiana ranks high on many positive measures, best tax climate in the Midwest, best states to do business, but we also, unfortunately, rank high for the overprescription of opiates. That's why I filed Senate Bill 221.
This bill would require certain healthcare practitioners who prescribe opiates to register with INSPECT, a prescription drug monitoring program. The goal of this bill is to make sure that individuals are being prescribed appropriate doses and quantities of opiates in Indiana. All practitioners who plan to prescribe opiates will be required to phase in this program over the next 3 years. The other primary items on the Senate Republican agenda for 2018 are workforce development, protecting Indiana citizens' constitutional rights through forfeiture laws, and funding in our public schools. These bills and hundreds more will be discussed throughout the 2018 session in committees, on the House and Senate floors, and right here on the Senate Minute. To find more information on these bills, go to iga.in.gov. Thanks for listening. You can subscribe to the Senate Minute on your Apple Podcasts app or listen at indianasenaterepublicans.com. Just click on the Media Room tab and then click on the Podcasts button. Join us next week to learn more about the bills being heard in the great state of Indiana. For the Senate Majority Communications Office, this is Elizabeth Voss.